All right, man, what up? It's your boy, the crypto commentator. And we're going to commentate on some crypto right now, believe it or not, okay? Surprise, surprise, that's what we're talking about today. So anyway, I hope y'all are doing all right. There was some news about JP Morgan Chase filing for an ETF 5 weeks after declaring crypto to be filthy, dirty, stupid people money. Oh, it's digital, it's dumb, it's so dumb. Why are you guys doing it? Yeah, they're disrespectful, bro. They said it was not a viable investment class. Disrespectful, man. Just disrespectful. Terrible. All right, so anyway, they filed with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. They filed for an ETF. And an ETF is an exchange traded fund. Man, 2018, 2019, ETFs were the talk of the town. Let me tell you that. Everybody was like, man, if they just approved an ETF, $300,000 Bitcoin like tomorrow. $500,000 Bitcoin next day. And there was actually one company, I forgot who it was, man. I was trying to think of it before I recorded because I couldn't remember who it was. I was trying to remember this company that did it, but they filed for an ETF with the SEC and they posted, they announced their filing. Okay, I'll go. Okay, fine. They announced their filing and what's it called? There was, all right, so the way it works is they file and then the SEC has a period of time to respond, and basically like if you don't get any response, then it's approved, right? Like they have to tell you that it's not approved for it to be approved. Like that's the process or whatever, right? And so this company, they filed for the ETF, and the discretionary period, what do they call it? Elapsed, ended, and turns out, I mean, that's what it is. They got approved. Like that's how you get approved, right? So then they started the ETF. They launched it, and the day that they launched, hey, who told y'all could do this? Huh? Who told y'all could do this ETF? And closed the door and said, and then like 4 days after that, they were like, yeah, y'all not approved for this. We denied this. We're denying it now. And that was the last one. That wasn't the last one, but that was like the last, that was the closest anybody got to actually having an ETF in America. And since then, many banks, investment firms, I mean, you name it. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's been filing for an ETF with the SEC. I mean, they're getting ETFs like, parking tickets, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just whoop, and every single one's getting denied. Every single time it's been denied. Okay, so what's an ETF, Teddy? Like, get to it. What are we talking about? All right, so in the stock world, which I don't, it's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea, but I get it. Some people get very rich, very wealthy playing stocks. That's great. I mean, more power to you, okay? More power to you. So in the stock world, all right, when me and you, we buy a coin or a stock or whatever, right? We might purchase 1 or 2 coins, you know what I'm saying? Or 2 stocks or whatever, 5 stocks. And you buy those 5 stocks, and then, your portfolio, the performance of your portfolio is based on how those stocks do. If that stock goes down, well, your portfolio just went down. If that stock goes up, your portfolio went up. Great, you know what I mean? But it's based off the performance of, the 3, 5, 10, 20 stocks that you have. We got 60 coins, or more than 60 maybe. I don't know, something crazy like that. Something really dumb number like that. And to buy the 60 coins, dude, it was a pain in the butt. You got to go research it, and then you got to go find it. You got to create because it's on this, you try to buy it early, so it's on this random stupid exchange, and you got to, go through the rigmarole of getting verified and blah, 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 blah. So you do that. Then you got to find the wallet that corresponds with the coin so you could tuck it off the exchange and store it yourself. It's a pain in the butt. So that's how people felt about investing in, lots of stocks too. And they said, you know what? Instead of 20 stocks, 50 stocks, I want to do 500 stocks. And that's how the S&P 500 came about. It's the 500 largest companies, publicly traded companies in the US. And it's not, so they created what's called an index. So the S&P 500 is an index. And then you have ETFs, exchange traded funds, that use the way that the performance of those 500 companies are on that index, for their fund, right? For the fund that people invest in. So what is a fund? So instead of buying one stock, you have a pool of investors, and it's tough to buy to buy 500 stocks. I mean, to buy 50, 60 coins, dude, it was very expensive, right? And so, let's say you have Berkshire Hathaway. They got, what's it called? One stock is worth like 400 grand, So if one of the companies you wanted to invest into was Berkshire Hathaway, you needed to have $400,000 because you got to be able to buy a stock. And not everybody has $400,000 for one share of a stock. You know what I mean? It's going to steadily rise probably over time, but I don't know if you want to tie up all $400,000 into just Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know if that wouldn't be probably the best move. Anyway, so you have this index, this list of companies and their prices, and it's tracked every day. And then you have a fund that collects a pool of money from investors, and they invest it according to the index. And so you just watch the index, and that should be a reflection of the stocks that your share of the index, right? And so you have index funds that are doing that, right? Sorry, not exchange traded funds are a little bit different. They are like index funds, but with index funds, there's terms. And I think if you want to liquidate your position in an index fund and get out, the other investors in that fund need to buy your share of the fund, right? And so sometimes liquidity, which is like being able to buy and sell your position in and out of that fund, with index funds can be a little bit trickier. But with ETFs, because the clearinghouse for the ETF, or the management position for the ETF is the one who's going to facilitate your buy and sell in and out of that ETF. It's a lot easier to sell your position because you're just talking to one person. You're just like, yo, give me my money. It's kind of like a bookie, right? With a bookie, he might have 1,000 bets, but you only deal with the bookie, and none of those other guys' bets matter. So if the bookie owes you money, the bookie's got to pay you. If somebody owes the bookie money, they got to pay the bookie. Like, the person betting it doesn't matter, right? So with ETFs, right, and exchange traded funds, all right, so why does that matter, right? Okay, well, who cares about JP Morgan Chase opening up an ETF? Yeah, rich people buying Bitcoin. What's the difference, right? We get that news every day. Here's the difference, is that when you look at the Canadian ETF, the first day they opened up, they cleared $100 million in assets under management. That was just the first ETF that was approved in Canada. I think it was it was earlier this year. Excuse me, April of this year. They got $100 million assets under management the first day. Think about that. You didn't even make a coin, bro. You just said, hey, I'm gonna put together a pool to buy these coins. Do y'all want to buy some too? And they said, yeah, we got $100 million for you. And then the next day they did another 300 mil. In 2 days, that fund was worth close to $500 million, 2 days. And so that's why, and it's like, you know, this happens wherever there's ETF. For crypto anyway. I don't know what the numbers are in other spaces, but I know this is what happens in crypto. And here's some of the reason why. So because you're not buying the actual coin, you're just buying, you know, in essence, you're buying exposure to the volatility of the coin. You can skirt around some of these laws that other funds have, you know, in order to still take advantage of the volatility. And on top of that, you know, some people, they don't like the volatility of Bitcoin. Like for example, let's say you had like 500 mil, or let's say you had 50 mil. 50 mil is a lot of money. 20 mil is a lot of money, right? Let's say you had 20 mil. And you bought Bitcoin at $60,000, and then Bitcoin just happens to dump 50% and cut your portfolio in half. You know, for somebody, you know, who had $5,000, which is like $5,000, it might as well be 20 mil to that person, right? It might be a lot of money to that person, right? So 5 G's coming down to 2,500 sucks, but you know, 20 mil coming down to 10. Whew, might make somebody want to slit their throat, you know what I mean? Especially if they're new. Then if you're investing in an ETF in crypto, you're new. You're either new or you don't get it. Because the rich people who have big bread, they're buying the coin itself. They don't want exposure because they're not playing a game of making more fiat. They're exiting the fiat system. That's what's really happening. You know what I mean? Like you think if Bitcoin, and I'm not saying Elon Musk knows much about Bitcoin, but you know, you got to be pretty confident in it to buy $1 billion worth of anything you want to do. You got to be pretty confident in it. You know what I mean? And what do you call it? Value proposition for a Bitcoin is that you own it. Like no matter what, you own the asset. Price is going to do whatever, but you own it. So somebody who doesn't want the volatility of Bitcoin, right? That might be attractive to them because then they might invest in a crypto index over the top 20 coins or top 50 coins, and that'll help them stave off some of that volatility like a little bit. You know what I mean? Still going to be pretty volatile, but you know, being able to skirt around some of the laws around owning Bitcoin by owning a share of a company that's buying Bitcoin is very attractive. That's why BlackRock or Grayscale, you know, they have funding rounds where a ton of shares are being bought. You know what I'm saying? And people are buying in because those companies are buying. I mean, BlackRock does too many things, but Grayscale is buying crypto. They buy a lot of crypto. They have, I don't know, over 100,000 Bitcoins and God knows how much Ethereum. Anyway, you know, even with MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor, you know, people are buying their stock because the way that their money is held in a fund by law can't really buy that coin right there, right? And on top of that, there's a buffer layer between them and the market. So if they have a particular agreement with MicroStrategy or with Grayscale or with an ETF, you know what I mean? Then there might be some cushion for them, you know, to not experience loss like somebody normally would just buying the coin. Now, why, you know, how does that boost the price of a coin, right? Like, why do we care in crypto? Like, okay, like you ain't said nothing new, Teddy. Okay, well, here's why. It's because, you know, the index funds that really matter, they actually have to go and buy the stock, right? They have to settle up with the clearinghouse for the stock that their investors are jumping into, that they claim that they're doing when they're tracking a fund, or, you know, via an index, right? So the same thing with crypto. Like, if, let's say, the US ETF raises $10 billion in 3 months or $20 billion, that ETF now has to go and buy $20 billion worth of coin. You know what I mean? And dude, that's a lot of coin. That's a lot of coin to buy. You know, can it affect price? I think it would. I think it would. You know, if it's just an Ethereum ETF, you know what I mean? Whew. And so JP Morgan Chase wants to do a DeFi ETF, which the DeFi space, if it was its own subcategory of cryptocurrencies, probably would have more volume than Bitcoin, to be honest with you, because Bitcoin is a store of value, it's digital gold, but DeFi is people trying to get rich. You know what I mean? So they're putting money in there. They're playing the market. You know what I mean? They're emptying out savings accounts, and you know they're cashing out their 401k, and they're trying to get rich playing the DeFi space. And DeFi stands for decentralized finance. This is like, you know, take the traditional world of finance with all the investment instruments that are in on it and put it on steroids, and then make it permissionless with no regulation, and then make it so that you don't need a social security number to engage in it. You just need to transfer coin up in there, and you're getting 100%, you know, staking rewards, APY. You know, you're getting 500% APY, 50% APY, and your bank is giving you 0.01%, 0.1%. You know, your bank might give you 5% on something, you know, a little bit more advanced or whatever, you know, something with a term on it. And so, you know, JP Morgan Chase wants to open up a DeFi crypto ETF, probably because they're just going to want to play all of it. You know, they're going to want to play the whole thing, the whole gamut of the game for everybody. But yeah, you know, once one gets approved, now why wouldn't they approve it, Teddy? Well, you know, I don't know. So you could literally take everything I say and throw it out. You know, I have no idea why they don't approve it, you know, in terms of like a concrete thing. But one of the reasons I think is because you basically legitimize Bitcoin to the traditional world of finance. Right now, crypto is really still a fringe thing, but it's a fringe thing that's looking more and more attractive every day, and bigger names, more reputable names, more reputable companies and funds, you know. And when I say reputable, I just basically mean rich. Richer people are getting into it, you know. Yeah, it's funny, man, because you have thousandaires and you have billionaires all getting into Bitcoin. It's the millionaires that are really missing out, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like the new middle class thing, right? And they're really missing out on this crypto thing. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but yeah, man, an ETF, you know, a Bitcoin or a crypto ETF would be monstrous. Would be, you know, it would be huge, but we don't need it. It would be nice, but we don't need it. Will they approve it? I don't know, but you know, legitimize, you know, the SEC approving something that's going to legitimize Bitcoin and put it in the mouths of everyday investors and then drive the price up. It kind of sucks, right? It's kind of like, well, for the U.S. government anyway, for the SEC, for the Federal Reserve, it would suck for them because they don't have any control over crypto. And you have, you know, thousands of people with trillions of dollars coming in, owning this currency that nobody can do anything about. I can't censor it. I can't stop a transaction. I can't stop homeboy from taking $2 billion out of his, you know, out of his crypto wallet, or keeping it in his crypto wallet, but then traveling to some other country and using it. Like, you can't stop that. I can't stop you from sending $400 million from one person to another person and pay $5 in transaction fees. You know what I mean? That sucks for the government. I mean, that sucks. And so by approving an ETF, not only do you legitimize it, but then subsequently, bro, you drive the price up. You drive the price up in a perpetually upward moving, you know what I mean, fashion. You know, you put the guardrails on it. Now it doesn't drop by 80%. It might not 20x in a year, but it still might 3 or 4x. Or 2x, you know what I'm saying? Which is still killing a whole lot of other places to put your money. And so, you know, that's my 2 cents. I could be totally wrong. You know, take anything I say with a grain of salt. Not financial advice. I'm just your bro. I'm just a student like you. I'm just sharing my notes, man. That's all I'm doing. So, you know, If you have any questions, you have any comments, if there's anything I said that was wrong, man, please comment below, slide in the DMs. It's gravy. And I appreciate that. But yeah, man, hope everything works out for you. Hope this ETF gets approved, but it won't. Or maybe it will. It's JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in America. Stop listening to these banks, man. Stop listening to them. And if they do get an ETF going, don't get in the ETF. Buy the coin. Buy the coin. Don't buy shares of the ETF, man. Buy the coins. Own the coins. Okay? Don't fall for all this stuff, man. You know? But yeah, man, that's my 2 cents, all right? Stop listening to these people. They're liars. They're all getting in. All these billionaire people, they're getting in, man. They're getting in or they're in already. So when they bash Bitcoin, literally every naysayer, I think the last ones left is Peter Schiff, and I forgot who else, man. But these dudes, his son owns Bitcoin. He got into an argument with his son. Peter Schiff is like the gold Hitler, bro. Like, he loves gold, hates crypto with a passion, goes all around the world. He gets paid to come to your company or your university or your talk show to bash Bitcoin, and turns out his son owns Bitcoin. And his son said, "Dad, you're dumb. I'm buying this Bitcoin. I don't want my gold anymore. I don't want this gold. I'm gonna keep a little bit of it around." So yeah, man, stop listening to these people. Do your own research. Don't even listen to me, bro. Don't even listen to me. Do your own research. Do your own research and find out what works for you. All right? I love you. Be safe.